Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Well, this is an exciting day for downtown. Appreciate everybody being here. The excitement is obviously great to see so many people here. I'm Vince Fry, and I'm president of Downtown Topeka Incorporated. You know, I've been saying for quite a while that great things are going to happen in downtown, and I think a lot of people were starting to doubt whether I was telling the truth. But today we get to talk about one of the projects that I believe will transform not only downtown Topeka, but this entire community. And it brings us a step closer to the revitalized downtown that the community said was their top priority during the 2008 visioning process. So as you recall, in December of 2012, the City Council committed $5 million to improve the infrastructure on Kansas Avenue. And since then, the private sector has committed $3.3 million to provide the arches, the pocket parks, the pavilions, the statues that are popping up along Kansas Avenue. You've heard me say that many local investors have purchased buildings downtown, and in fact, over 20 buildings have been purchased in the last 2 years by local investors. So I know everyone, including myself, wants to know what people have planned for these properties. But it's also important to remember that planning and redevelopment take time, and it doesn't happen overnight. Most of these investors are not going to talk about their plans until they're completely finished and everything is in place. I know some of the things that have been planned, but I haven't been able to talk about them. But that's why I'm really excited today to be able to talk about this project that has been on the planning table for quite some time. Today shows that big things are being planned and the future of downtown Topeka is bright. So I'd like to introduce one of the investors that has purchased several of the buildings downtown, Cody Foster. He owns the buildings that we're in, and many of you know Cody as one of the founders of Advisors Excel, which has grown from he and his two partners to over 350 employees and one of Topeka's great success stories. Fortunately for us, Cody and his partners, David and Derek, have made the Topeka community their home, and fortunately for downtown, Cody also has a passion for real estate. So I'd like to introduce Cody Foster to talk about the plans he has for the buildings we're currently spending on. Cody?
Well, thank you. What a great turnout. So Vince, thank you for your constant work in rebuilding downtown. I guess it's working now. So welcome and thank you to everybody for being here today. We weren't expecting quite this big of a turnout, but I'm excited to be here with you, and we're excited for this announcement. As Vince said, my name is Cody Foster. For those of you who I do not know, I came here 20 years ago to go to Washburn University. I've made Topeka my home ever since. My wife, Jennifer, is a lifelong Topekan, and this is the community that we've chose to raise our family in. 10 years ago, with two great partners, I started a company called Advisors Excel, as Vince mentioned, has had some incredible growth. You know, I think the key thing that I want to talk about today is I believe in this city, but more importantly, I believe in the people in this city. The people in this city have been such a great attribute to our business, and I think sometimes as Topekans, we doubt how great of a city that we can actually be, but I think that is slowly changing, and we're excited and hope today is a catalyst to move that forward even more. So today, we've invited you all here to talk about a project that we think will be one of the most exciting projects to happen in Topeka in a long time. So I'm going to give you a little Topeka history. In 1854, Cyrus K. Holliday helped establish the location for what would become in 1857 the city of Topeka. And he wrote this great letter. I don't know how many of you have ever read it, but he wrote a letter to his wife about his vision for Topeka. This letter was actually published in the Topeka Capital Journal. And I want to read just a little bit of this letter. He said to his wife, "I am now 30 miles above Lawrence on the Kansas River, assisting in starting a new town. We are just above We are just above the central portion of the settled territory and with perhaps the best landing in the most eligible site for a city in the entire country. So I think it must be, and in a few years when civilization, by its magic influence, shall have transformed this glorious country from what it is now to the brilliant destiny awaiting it, the sun in all his course will visit no land more truly lovely and desirable than this. Here, Mary, with God's kind permission, we will make our home, and I have every reason to believe a home it will truly be. So as I mentioned, Topeka's been my home for over 20 years. And over those 20 years, there's been some incredible change take place in our community. More recently, the efforts to revitalize downtown Topeka have really picked up momentum, and today we hope to add to that. So someone who travels a lot for work, like every week, I can tell you we have, without doubt, the most amazing Capitol building in the entire country that stands 1 block away from here and has become a major attraction. Over the past 2 years, as Vince mentioned, thanks to the leadership of our city and the leadership of many of the private individuals that are in this room today, a $9 million renovation of Kansas Avenue has taken place, which you can see outside of these walls. You know, in a way, a new vision for Topeka is taking place. An updated, modern vision of Cyrus K. Holliday's original vision. A brilliant destiny is awaiting our town. So we're excited to announce today a major development project on Kansas Avenue, unlike anything we've had in Topeka in a long time, and we hope it's a catalyst for more private investment into downtown Topeka. And as part of this, we wanted to honor Cyrus K. Holliday's original vision. So, today we are officially announcing our plans to build a Cyrus Hotel, a 79-room boutique hotel, and Holliday's Public House, a modern but classic restaurant and bar, right here at 912 through 920 Kansas. So we're going to unveil these drawings, but let me explain real quick what they are. So what you have on my right, your left to the farthest, is these 4 properties in the 1930s, what they look like. You have a view of them here in the 1960s when Kansas Avenue was the place to be and a very popular spot, and then you have them in their modern form today. So this project, if we, Kelly, Chuck, will you help me pull those up maybe? So this project will incorporate these 4 existing buildings that you see today, 912, 916, 918, and 920 Kansas. But out of these historic buildings, a 5-story modern tower will emerge, again featuring 79 rooms and suites, a restaurant and bar, and over 10,000 square feet of meeting space with full catering services. What do you think? Like them? Oh. Yeah. We've assembled an all-star team to help us bring this project to fruition. The original planning for the project and the conceptual designs were completed by one of the leading architectural firms in the world, Lake Flato out of Texas. They have expertise in rehabilitating buildings and also in boutique hotels. So it's going to give us a project that we think will be one of the most unique and talked about destinations in the Midwest. Locally, Architect One, our neighbors one door over, who have already done an incredible job restoring some buildings down here on Kansas Avenue, will be the architects we use to complete the project. Then from a construction standpoint, McPherson Contractors will be in charge of turning these properties into the must-visit destination in Kansas. Matt's team led the renovation of the Marling building for us at Advisors Excel, and I know they'll do an amazing job. But I think also important for us was to make sure with both Architect One and McPherson Contractors that we're using local Topeka-based businesses. On top of that, outside of traveling a lot for my job at Advisors Excel and staying in a lot of hotel rooms, I don't really know much about running a hotel. That's why we brought in a man who may be the most decorated and one of the most successful hotel experts in the world. David Bout is the founder of Salt Hotels out of New York, and he's the former chief operating officer for the Ian Schrager Hotels and the Andre Balazs Hotels of New York, Los Angeles, and London. His flagship hotel, the Salt House Inn, which opened in 2013, was named the Condé Nast Travelers Hot List 2014, and was honored with the Boston Magazine Best of Boston Award for the Best New Inn in 2013. So his experience will be invaluable for this project. Our final partner is a good friend of mine, Chuck Como. Because of my partnership and friendship with Chuck and some other businesses, and seeing his amazing vision, some of you may know him for his work in rebuilding most of downtown Hayes, and in launching one of the best restaurants and microbreweries in the state, Gelles and LB Brewing. But Chuck also runs the premier design company in the world, so he'll play a key role in helping us create an experience that isn't common in this business. So we're confident that this team will create a property that will become the go-to destination in our state and help build momentum for other great businesses to invest in rebuilding downtown Topeka. We'd like to, formally thank the leadership of Topeka, including our city manager, Jim Colson, our mayor, Larry Wolgast, and the entire city council for being willing to make this investment into Kansas Avenue. We'd also like to thank Vince again for his leadership and hard work on behalf of downtown Topeka to get this done. You know, I know there's a lot of people that have invested a lot of time, money, and effort into making the redevelopment of Kansas Avenue a reality. Many of them are in this room today, and we're very thankful for that. Today, we hope that all of you are excited to see our plans for the Cyrus Hotel and Holidays Public House and realize that your efforts were worth it. Next, let me introduce just a few of the key partners. I want them to be able to share some of their thoughts on this project. So as I've already mentioned, I'd like to introduce one of the most successful hotel experts in the world, who is the lead consultant for us on this project, David Bowden.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me. And first of all, I just wanted to say how excited I am to be part of this project. And for Cody and Chuck, I'm very excited to be working with you. We've spent a lot of time behind the scenes for many months working on this hotel. And one of the first things we looked at was what makes a great hotel. And I wanted to share some of the things that we've looked at as we've created this hotel. Really, for me, it's about creating interesting, different, and exciting spaces. With the Cyrus Hotel, we have multiple indoor and outdoor spaces. We've created terraces and gardens, great event space for up to 350 people. A cafe, a restaurant, and a bar, and great rooms. Rooms that you can use for business or for leisure, and each one will be decorated to an incredibly high standard. One of the mantras that I've always lived by in hotels is hire the attitude and train the skill. Hotels, I've been in hotels for 30 years. It's my passion. I love hospitality. I love delivering exceptional guest experiences time and time again. And that's what excites me the most about this project. We're able to start from the ground up, create something very interesting and exciting, but something that is part of the community. And what we're creating with the Cyrus Hotel is really a gateway to Topeka. And our intention is to employ as many local staff as we possibly can. It'll be a very personal hotel. It's not a big flagged hotel, a really intimate and personal experience. And as somebody said this morning, a hotel when you come to time and time again, and people will remember your name, you won't be just a number. And it'll really be a melting pot for visitors to town and for locals. Our aim is to make it affordable, accessible, and very much part of this community. So thank you very much for welcoming us here today, and I look forward to meeting with many of you individually and building this hotel. So thank you.
All right, thank you. So next, I would like to introduce Chuck Como. I've known of Chuck for a long time, as I grew up 15 miles away from his hometown in western Kansas, but I've really gotten to know him over the past few years as we partnered on a few other projects. And there you can see the floor plans a little bit. So, you know, what drew me to Chuck is really his success in rebuilding a large part of downtown Hays. If you've been there, you can see that they've restored almost 15 buildings to their, original beauty. But on top of restoring those buildings, also has built a very successful business in Gelles and LB Brewing. But his design company, Dessin Fournier, is one of the most celebrated design companies in the world. So his experience on this project is going to be invaluable also. So I would like Chuck to share just a few words about his experience in redeveloping projects as he's done in Hays.
Thank you, sir. It was about 20 years ago that I stood before a group similar to this in Hays, Kansas, and shared with them ideas of revitalizing downtown Hays. And from that process, a lot has happened. I've learned 3 things, though, that are really kind of critical, and I'd like to share with you today. First of all, these projects take time. As much as we would like for them to go quickly, the reality is it doesn't work that way. It just takes time. But nonetheless, when you folks, when there is improvement, it's different for somebody from outside coming in and seeing it. It happens much, much quicker. And the magnitude in other people's eyes is much greater. The second thing that we learned in doing the Hays project is it takes a community and it takes a community's administration to support a project like this. There can be lots of stimulus from investment from local people and from private parties, but it really comes down to the community embracing the concept and really playing their role in making it a great destination, a great location. The third thing that we learned from the Hays project is that this process really works. When we first started it, it was nothing more than pie in the sky. We've now completed multiple buildings, and we've also brought in additional entertainment and food venues. And it's become a vibrant part, again, of Western Kansas, as well as Hays, Kansas, and where I'm from. I actually live in a small town 23 miles away. To give you a little bit of an idea, because it's always what is the economic benefit when you look at projects like this? Well, I can tell you in Hays, there are 38 net new businesses, not relocated, but new businesses since we started the process. 1,500 people now work downtown Hays. From our projects, they've had 158 full-time employees developed and 161 part-time. And we have given 20 people an opportunity and a venue to excel professionally and financially by having their own business, by allowing them to be entrepreneurial again. This is the kind of thing that has propelled our country forward and will bring our country back where it needs to be. And at the end of the day, the one that counts most is, from the very beginning till now, our sales tax revenues in Hays quadrupled. And Hays' downtown now constitutes 10% of the sales tax revenue in Hays, starting at 2. So it's come a long way. When I look at Topeka, and I'm from outside and I come in, I see nothing but opportunity. I see nothing but potential. When you look at these walls, you say, oh my God, what are they going to do with this? I look at these walls and say, oh my God, this is going to be so cool. And when I look at your downtown and see how wonderful it is, and what the city is already committed to in terms of greenscaping and future commitments, it's amazing. You should all be very, very proud to live here, and we should all be very proud to be able to live in Kansas, because I can tell you it's a great spot. It's like nothing else in the world, and as Cody said, I travel all the time. I see all the spots that everybody talks about are hot, and there's nothing better than Kansas. So from my perspective, this is where it's really at. It's very exciting to be a part of this process. Cody and I share a passion, which is everything we're talking about, and it allows that to continue on, and we both continue to learn, and he can gain some of the knowledge that we've learned from the whole process. So it's very exciting to be a part of this. I have an associate, Kelly Hansen, who is actually works with me and has done an enormous amount for the Downtown Hays project and understands it as well as anybody. But it's very nice to be a part of this one, and I look forward to seeing you all and working with you all in the future.
All right, so hopefully you can tell we've got a great group of people on this project. Finally, I'd like to ask Mayor Wolgast to come up and share just a few thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up after that. So,
thank you. Wow. 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 What do you say? These are the days we live for. How does it get any better than this? Cody, David, Chuck, thank you so much for what you are doing. And by the way, of course, I always want to acknowledge other elected officials that are here. We have council members Jonathan Shum, Jeffrey Cohen, Aaron Hiller, city or county commissioners Bueller and Archer. Thank you for being a part of this. This goes back to the city, the entity. But what they said, I mean, there's nothing left for a mayor, chamber of commerce, anybody to say. Cody, the letter, the only thing you didn't add is that Topeka's birthday is December 5, like 2 weeks away. So you should have waited, you made it on that day. That's right, that's right. Better information. And the description, Chuck, of Kansas, the Topeka, what we have here. And I think what was said about the enthusiasm of the city. Those of us in this room started about 2007, 08, 09, talking about downtown Topeka and those early struggles. And now we see how worthwhile it was. And what you are seeing here is due to a lot of the people in this room. They brought it along, they fought, they kept going, they knew what we wanted to have happen, and now we see it happening. And this is the first of one step along Kansas Avenue. It's going to be fantastic. And I know you will have support of the city of Topeka, of the leadership in the community for each step that you take. It just doesn't get any better of this. And we know there's going to be more. This is one, but you know there's going to be more announcements, more steps going in this direction because we know what it will be. We want it to be. We're going to support it. We're going to achieve it. And just ride on. We can hardly wait. What's the opening date? Thank you.
You know, it's funny. I actually keep pushing the opening date up, and Matt McPherson keeps moving it back. So ask Matt that question. He's the one you have to ask. You know, the one thing I would echo before I make just a closing comment is, I know also there's some other big things planned here. I know people have made investments and have plans, but as Vince said in the beginning, I think it is important to be patient and realize that you have to get, there's a lot of moving parts to doing some of these. So I think we wanted to make this announcement like 4 months ago, and just it's taken that long to kind of get to this point. So, you know, as we wrap up today, I want to thank everyone for coming here and the great turnout. More importantly, for the people in this room, thank you for your vision and continued leadership for Topeka. I would say, being here for 20 years, the leadership in our city today, both at the city level, the county level, and the private individuals, is better than it's ever been. The other thing I would love to say is, for the media, I do appreciate the great job that you all do covering and promoting our city. Every time there's great stories to be had, you're out there promoting it. You know, I think our best days are ahead of us here in Topeka, and we're excited to try and play a small role in helping Cyrus K. Holliday's vision become a reality, that the sun in all his course will visit no city more truly lovely and desirable than this. So as we wrap up, thank you for being here. We're excited to get this project moving forward. I know myself, Chuck and David, Matt, not to put you on the spot, but Matt and Scott and Mike from Architect One will be available to talk or answer any questions if you have them. Otherwise, you can mingle amongst yourself, check out the floor plans, but that's pretty much a wrap. So thank you, and we're excited for this.